Hey, it's Cousin Tim from Missouri. What we're going to do today is make a barbecue bacon cheeseburger meatloaf. That's a mouthful. Be back soon. So what we're going to need here is I've sauteed half a small onion and one jalapeno that's been deveined and de-seeded. Sauteed them in some butter. Got a cup of breadcrumbs, several slices of American cheese. Got 2.5 pounds of what our local grocery store calls Boston burger. What it is 70% hamburger, ground beef, and 30% ground pork. You can use beef, you can use all beef, you can use partial beef, partial breakfast sausage, anything that you like, just whatever you make your meatloaf out of. We're also going to use this little gold nugget here because the price of eggs are so high right now. So we're going to use that. And then got some W sauce and some seasonings here that we're going to put into this and make this into a meatloaf. Also have a bacon weave that we're going to put on the outside of that. We'll get that out here in a little bit after we get this loaf formed up, and we'll wrap it in bacon and put it in the smoker. Be back in a minute. All right, so we got our 2.5 pounds of meat right here. Like I said, this is 70% ground beef, 30% ground pork. Uh, our local grocery store, locally owned grocery store, they uh, they make this stuff and have it out there pretty frequently. I don't know if this is available all over the place like that or not, but you could always ask your meat cutter to make this for you, your butcher, whatever, or you could just buy 2 pounds of ground beef and a pound of ground pork or sausage, and you can make this same stuff. But the pork adds a little bit of sweetness to this. It really makes really good burgers too. So, but what we're going to start out with is we've got our W sauce, Worcestershire sauce. Give it a little shake there. Probably put about a quarter of a cup in there. Get you that nice umami taste that Worcestershire is famous for. Really good in burgers. Any kind of meat product, you can put that on there. It's really good. So, gonna go in with some Meat Church Blanco. This is a good salt and pepper kind of seasoning. Get that off of there. It's salt, pepper, garlic, everything you need for general seasoning purposes. Put a couple of tablespoons of that in there. We got our sauteed onions and jalapeno we're going to put in here. Our cup of breadcrumbs we're going to stick down in there. And this egg right there. There we go. All right, then we just get to mixing. Get your hands in there, get it dirty. This is what fun part of cooking. Get in here and mix this up really good. Make sure you get that egg distributed through there. The egg and the breadcrumbs are the binder that's going to keep this meatloaf together. What we're going to do with it is we're going to form it into a meatloaf or into a loaf pan, and then we're going to take it out of that loaf pan and wrap it in a bacon weave. So get this mixed up nice and good. Like I said, make sure that egg and all those breadcrumbs get equally distributed. Unlike hamburgers where they say you're not supposed to handle the meat very much or you're going to make a tough burger, this really doesn't apply to this because we really want to make a nice firm loaf out of this. It's still going to be plenty Plenty of moisture in it, plenty juicy. All right, we're going to get this going and we'll be right back in a little bit. All right, so what we got here is a loaf pan. What we're going to do is form this into our meatloaf inside this pan. I've got it lined with plastic wrap. Spray the inside of the pan with a little bit of cooking oil. Press that in there so it stays in place. Then we're going to form this meatloaf in here. Put the cheese in the middle. And then we're going to take it out, remove the plastic wrap, and then we're going to wrap it in that bacon weave that we've got going. So get going on this. You want to make sure you press this into all the corners here. Get your first good layer going. This is going to eventually be the top of the meatloaf. So we're going to stick this in here like that. Press it into all the corners. Make sure it's good and even. There's no air pockets in there. All right, and then what we're going to do is form a little valley in the middle of this. Push it aside like so to give you enough space where we're going to eventually get the cheese part of our cheeseburger meatloaf in here. Stick a piece of cheese in there like so. Another one in there. Take that one and stick it in there like so. You ever had a Juicy Lucy hamburger? Cheese stuffed hamburger? That's basically the idea of this meatloaf here, is you're going to get a Juicy Lucy kind of effect to it. So then we're going to take this and cover that like so. This, cover that like so. What you want to do is leave enough room around the edges to seal this up so that cheese stays inside there like that. So we got an extra one. We're just going to stick it right here in the middle. All right. Let's get the rest of this meat in here. It's always when you stuff things with cheese that when the cheese starts melting, it's always going to find a way for some of it to seep out, which that's all right. You know, that's part of cooking, especially when you're cooking outside, smoker, grill, stuff like that. It's, you know, this isn't fine dining gourmet. This is just what you like to eat. Want to give it a try. All right. Press that together real good so we got a good seal around the edges so that cheese isn't going to want to, we're not going to let too much of it escape. Some of it will, but you know, like I said, that's all right. Make sure we get all that meat in there. Make sure it's packed in there good and tight. All right. Going to get this cleaned up here a little bit, and I'm going to get that bacon weave, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. All right, we got this bacon weave here. I didn't want to take the time to show you how to do this because it is time consuming, but if you ever want to learn how to make a bacon weave, there's tons of videos on YouTube about how to weave bacon. It is really easy. It just takes some time to do it, but this is really good for like this meatloaf deal. You can also like put a pork loin in here, wrap it in the bacon. The bacon keep that pork loin nice and moist, so there's a lot of different uses you can do for these bacon weaves, but I really suggest if you're really into cooking a lot and you like bacon, uh, give them a try. You can also like cut these out and put them on like cook this, cut them out, put them on your hamburgers as a weave like this. Looks really cool. But anyway, what we're going to do with this is we're going to put that meatloaf on here and then wrap it around the top of it. We're going to wrap that meatloaf in this bacon weave. So let me grab this here real quick. I'm going to turn this out onto the middle of this. It's not going to come out for me very easy, is it? So let's just grab it from the plastic and pull it out of there then. All right. I'm going to stick this meatloaf right in this weave like so. Make sure that we're all nice and tight on the sides here. All right. We're going to take this plastic wrap and lay it back on this sheet pan here. I'm going to flip this thing over. Just like so. Yep. We've stuck to the paper. Just take it off like that then. There we go. All right. I'm going to slide this up in here. Get this edge up underneath. That was not as successful as an attempt as I would have hoped for, but if you watch this all the way through this, you'll find out that you fly and improvise on the fly. There we go. So anyway, our meatloaf is covered with our bacon weave, and I'm going to season this up and we're going to get it in the smoker. I'm going to take some of this Meat Church Gospel rub, which is a good all-purpose barbecue rub. Use it on burgers quite a bit. We're going to put some of this on there. It's got a lot of pepper taste to it, yeah. Season the top of this up. There we go. All right. we're going to get this in the smoker and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, our meatloaf's in the smoker. We're going to let this go for about 3.5 hours at 225 degrees. Probably around the 3-hour mark, we might start glazing it with our barbecue glaze to turn this into that barbecued bacon cheeseburger meatloaf that we're waiting for dinner. So, all right, be back soon. See ya. All right, so what we're going to do here is make a barbecue bourbon glaze to put on this meatloaf here. So what we're going to do is start out with some barbecue sauce, whatever your favorite barbecue sauce is. You want to start out with, between a half a cup and a cup, probably, of barbecue sauce. Some brown sugar, about a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half. Shot of your favorite bourbon, put in there. A little bit more of that W sauce, some Worcestershire sauce, whatever brand you particularly like. About a half a tablespoon of that. And then your barbecue seasoning that you put on there. Maybe a half a tablespoon of that as well. I'm going to mix that up. And then what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to let this come to temperature. I'm going to put it in there in the smoker with that meatloaf. Let this heat up a little bit. Let these seasonings, that bourbon, brown sugar and stuff melt together and come together, and then we will brush that over the top of that meatloaf in there and let it tack up while it's finishing cooking up, and then we're going to slice some of it up and eat it later. Be back with you in a little bit. Okay, here's our meatloaf. We've had it out in the smoker for about 3.5 hours. Let's cut into it and see what it looks like on the inside. Let's go right down the middle here and see what we got going. Open that up and see what we got. There you go. Got your bacon, your burger, your cheese in the middle there. Let's take a little slice of this off and take a bite of it and see what we got. See that jalapeno in there. A little bit of onion. Yeah, I'd say everything you'd want out of a cheeseburger, you got right here. That one little bite. Give it a try, y'all. Won't be disappointed. See you later.